which hall you're doing
I'll
it.
tell you how.
It's a mechaya. They just do everything.
Yeah,
it's a factory.
you don't
go
have to, you
in.
don't have to deal with all the, especially with the package. It's like they line almost everything up for you. Okay, here we go. Ayotzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil Hey, Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom Ayotzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil Otzo eitzave sofar Dabro davar v'leyakom Ayotzo eitzave sofar Dabro davar v'leyakom Ki imanu keil Otzo eitzave sofar Dabro davar v'leyakom Ki imanu keil Hey, Otzo eitzave sofar Dabro davar v'leyakom Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil Otzo eitzave sofar davar davar v'leyakom ki imanu keil.
That's a good niggun
It's a great niggun.
to start with it. It's a good niggun to end with, like with the davening.
And anywhere in the middle.
Hey kids, what time is it?
Me thinks it's time for Gezintahait
It
Street.
is time for Gezintahait Street. And the story tonight is called The Torah from the Palace of Mashiach. And it's connected with our parsha of Shelach, which we're reading, which is about the spies and the land of Israel. The previous Rebbe related that when the Alter Rebbe returned from Medrash, he was adorned with a crown of might and beauty. And this spiritual gift was bestowed on him because he was the Rebbe who had revealed Chabad Chassidus. One of the first Torah teachings that the Alter Rebbe taught was a teaching that the Baal Shem Tov heard from the palace of Moshiach. The Alter Rebbe said that he was publicizing the teaching in the name of Moshiach and the Baal Shem Tov to include the blessing contained in it in order that it would be revealed in the inner reaches of the Jewish heart. That's us. So the Alter Rebbe told this story so that this idea from Mashiach and the Baal Shem Tov will be revealed in the inner reaches of our heart. And the Torah that the Alter Rebbe taught was a Hasidic interpretation of the sentence that begins the Torah. You know what sentence begins the Torah?
Bereshis bara Elokim.
You were there, right?
In the beginning, all the way in the beginning.
You were there.
I was the first puppet after all.
After all. In the beginning, Hashem created the heaven and earth, and the Hasidic interpretation of that is, in the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth, and in the beginning, the word Bereshis indicates the beginning of our service to Hashem. And the next word, bara, created, in a person's service to Hashem, indicates to reveal. So the beginning of our service to Hashem is in the beginning, and created is the idea of revelation in our service. We have to reveal that Elohim, who creates the world, is really Hashem. To reveal that the aspect of Hashem uses to hide himself in the world is the heaven and earth, and he hides himself through the name Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, the start of our service to Hashem, bara is to reveal that this hidingness is really Hashem who's hiding. Hiding in what? In hiding in the creation, in the heaven and earth. And our service is to reveal that the inner essence of the name which indicates hiding of godliness, the name Elohim, is really Hashem, as manifest in the name Havaya, the name which reveals godliness. Like we say on Yom Kippur, Havaya is Elohim. Even though Elohim looks like a hidingness and a contraction, it's Hashem that's doing that hiding, in order to allow us the opportunity to reveal that it's really Hashem that's hiding in nature in the heaven and earth. And through the service of revealing that the inner essence of the name which hides ungodliness is really the power of Hashem himself, a Jew reveals the inner meaning and intention of nature, which is the heaven and the earth. So nature hides the fact that really Hashem is controlling and creating everything and enlivening everything. It appears this thing called nature is doing stuff, but it's really Hashem that's accomplishing everything by following those laws that we call nature. Why? Why does he do that? To allow us free choice to serve him. By hiding, Hashem allows us to make the choice that we can serve him. The first letter of each of the Hebrew words for the heaven and earth, Shemayim Ba'aretz, is an acrostic for a very high version of the name Havaya, Aleph Hey, and above and a Hey. So the heaven and the earth really is a manifestation of Hashem himself through the name Havaya, the name that transcends nature. And the supernal and transcendent Holy One is hidden in nature. That's the heaven and earth. And Hashem hides himself by following the laws of nature, which obscure godliness, through the hiding principle of the name Elohim. Are you okay with that? Is that too complicated?
No, it's not complicated. It's
okay. The name Elohim hides on Hashem, even though it's Hashem that's following those laws of nature. And by publicizing this teaching in the names of Mashiach and the Baal Shem Tov, the Alter Rebbe was being very precise. A person's essence can be found in his home. He heard this Torah from the palace of Mashiach, where Mashiach's essence resides. In this case, the Alter Rebbe was hinting that the Baal Shem Tov heard the lesson from Mashiach himself. And the coming of Mashiach is the goal and the point of our godly service. At that time, when Mashiach comes, the mitzvahs will be done perfectly, as Hashem desires. And that perfect service of the future depends on, please have patience, I printed this out without page numbers. It depends on our service of revealing godliness during the exile. That's what Mashiach depends on our service of revealing godliness now in nature. And this is the link between the coming of Mashiach and the Torah the Alter Rebbe taught. On the verse in the beginning, that the beginning of our service is to reveal godliness in the world. Through our service of revealing godliness in the world, now the days of Mashiach will be finally manifest. And our Rebbe develops that thought even further by citing Rashi on the first verse of the Torah. What's the first word of the Torah? Verse of the Torah?
Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz.
In the beginning, Hashem created the heaven and the earth. And Rashi says on this verse, He gives to His people the inheritance of the nations. Rashi asks, why does the Torah start with history? The history of the world. In the beginning, Hashem created the world. The whole function of the Torah is to teach law and ethics. It should really have started with the first mitzvah, not a history of the world. The reason the Torah starts with the creation, Rashi says, is so that when non-Jews say we are stealing their land, does that sound familiar?
Sounds familiar.
Nowadays, when the non-Jews say that we are stealing their land, we will answer them, the world is created and owned by Hashem. In the beginning, Hashem created the heaven and earth. And He can give it to whoever He wants. And He gave the land of Israel to the children of Israel. But what are we saying, our Rebbe says? That the Torah, the very beginning of the Torah, is a vehicle to explain God's intentions to a non-Jew? This amazing gift that we're getting from Hashem, and the whole beginning of it is to explain things to a non-Jew? No. The purpose of explaining Hashem's intention to the non-Jew by telling them it's ours because God gave it to us is that through doing so, we accomplish selecting the sparks of good that have fallen and mixed with the bad. When we tell the non-Jew it's ours because Hashem gave it to us, we are pulling out the spark of good that had been swallowed up by the bad. Therefore, Torah directs us to have traffic and conversation with the non-Jew, not to debate with him, to pull out the good that's been swallowed by the bad, to listen to his complaint and answer it, and informing them Israel is ours because the Creator gave it to us. An act of acquisition through which we actually acquire the land of Israel. When we tell the non-Jews it's ours because God gave it to us, we will acquire the land. We won't have to go through all the aggravation of fighting the wars. Therefore, thereby we redeem that spark of good, the land of Israel, that had fallen and become mixed with the bad. Returning to the theme of our personal service, you don't have to worry about personal service, right, Gimel?
Me? Well, I have a lot of personal service. I don't worry about it, though.
Good. A Rebbe points out that each one of us has his own personal non-Jew, the animal soul. Like in the story where Shmuel Munkus told the Alter Rebbe, my guy is bigger than yours. And that's the inner meaning of he gives his people the inheritance of the non-Jews, the purification of our personal non-Jew, the animal soul. That's the general point of the time of exile. The service of prayer and learning Torah doesn't accomplish bringing the final redemption as much as doing the physical mitzvah. Gimel Aleph, you want to suggest to the people that they go to Chabad house and put on tefillin tomorrow?
Yes, that's what they should do. And you know, especially now it's coming up this week, a special day. It's Gimel Tammuz coming up this coming up week. So everybody, you know, this is a special day, and you should do something like the Rebbe said to do, that to tell all the people how much Hashem loves them and the Rebbe loves them, and about the Avos Yisrael of the Rebbe, and that they should do an extra mitzvah today.
And through doing the mitzvahs, we bend the animal soul to make it conform to the will of Hashem. Like the metaphor of a seed which has to rot in the ground before it can shoot out a sprout. The essential point, through our service in exile, when godliness is hidden, it looks like nature, we can acquire for ourselves the inheritance of the nations and reach the revelation of King Moshiach. And that's the Torah that Baal Shem Tov received from the palace of Mashiach, and the intention of Hashem in hiding himself as Elohim is that through a service will merit the revelation of Havaya, Hashem's essence, and being with the coming of Moshiach.
Oh me.
Now Gimel Aleph, I'm sure, has a nigun.
Oh yeah. Like Snyder McSnyder says. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ya ya la da da, ma ya la da da, ma ya ya la da da la da, ma ya la da da, ha ya la da da, te ya ho, ha ya la da da, ha ya la da da, ma ya la da da la da, ha ya la da da, ma ya la da da, te ya. Ta de da de ma ye de ma ya la da ya. Ta de da ma ye ma ya la da ya. Hey ya de ma ye ma ya la da ya. Ta de da ma ye ma ya la ya. Aho, tere ya la da ma ya la da. Ay la da da ya ma ya la da da. Aho, tere ya la da da ma ya la da da. Ay la da da ya ma ya la da da. Te ya de ma la da ya. Ta de ma ya la da ya. Hey de ma la da ya. Ta de ma la da ya. Aho, tere la da da. Ay la da da. Ay la da da ya ma la da da. Aho, te la da da. Ma la da da. Ay la da da ya ma yo de da. Ta de ma ya. Ta de ma la da ya. Hey de ma la da ya. Ta de ma la da ya. Ho!
I like the way you finish up those
A big finish, Mark.
Sion said, Sion is the inner aspect in the heart of a Jew, called Sion. And what Sion said was this very shocking thing. The Lord has forsaken me. The Lord has forgotten me. And that's a piskam. It's not something the Rebbe is making up. It's actually written someplace in the Holy Writings. And this is a wonder. It's a shock. How could the Lord forget us? For surely, like water, a face is reflected in water. So when we look to Hashem and He looks to us, there's an automatic reflection. And if there is forgetfulness in the community of Israel, if we forget Hashem, then the level of divine knowledge falls into forgetfulness sometimes. And that's called the fallen sukkah of David. When we forget Hashem. When we forget Hashem, He forgets us. So the forgetting is only by us, and it causes Hashem to forget us because we turn away from Him. And that recipient who forgets Hashem is according to the brain and the heart. We forget Hashem's existence in our intellect and the feeling for Hashem in our heart. Because from the intensity of their deep occupation, meaning we're lost in exile and we think that the world exists. And we think that Israel is just another country like all the other countries, a political entity. There's complete confusion until finally we forget about Hashem. The distraction of the mind. And that in this there is, that's a nice grammar, in this there is always interruption and change. Sometimes the Jews are remembering Hashem, sometimes we're not remembering Hashem because of our distress in the Gullus. But from the side of the inner level, the point of the Jewish heart, where there is no change, no replacement, because it's the state of actual godliness. I think we could say it's the level of Yechida, although he doesn't say it here. And that actual godliness in the heart of a Jew is called the Shekhinah, the indwelling of godliness. So at that point, like water reflects the face that looks into it, the lower face, which is us, reflects the upper face, which is Hashem looking back at us. And there shines an inner light, an essence of godliness, which is called the light that surrounds all worlds. It's above the investment of divine light in time and space. That connection that we have for Hashem in the inner point of our heart completely transcends space and time. So therefore there's no change. It's eternal. So the only place there could be forgetfulness is in space and time. But higher than that, there is no forgetting. Like it says, there's no forgetting before your throne of glory. Before your throne specifically. So how could it be that we say, Hashem has forgotten me? There is no forgetting by Hashem. Doesn't it say, I am Hashem, I don't change? If He doesn't change, it means He can't forget us. So you, the children of Jacob, are not consumed. In other words, you don't get destroyed out of existence. Why? Because there's no change in me and you're my people. Like Hashem says, I didn't loathe them to destroy them, to break my covenant with them. Hashem has a permanent covenant with us, that He's our God and we're His people. So we have to understand that according to this, face should reflect the face. We should always be connected to Hashem without forgetting. So, there is a big question, why were we exiled to Egypt? It's not that we weren't doing Torah and mitzvahs, because there was no Torah and mitzvahs at that point. So why were we being exiled to Egypt? We were slaved there, the ultimate oppression. And how come we weren't redeemed until we cried out to Hashem, "Oi, get us out of here"? That's when Hashem told Moshe, "I heard the cry of the Jews." So how come we weren't redeemed before that? After all, the covenant is eternal.
Eternal.
And it shouldn't be, "Oh, now I'm going to take you out and save you." And then he didn't save us before that. Why? Like it says, and Hashem knew. And likewise he said to Moshe, "And also I have heard the groaning of the children of Israel, and I remembered my covenant." So if he remembered his covenant now, apparently he forgot it earlier. Which implies that all the days of the duration of their harsh exile, about 200 years, they were not remembered by Hashem until they groaned. And how is there forgetfulness before Hashem? So what do you mean? He either forgot the covenant or he remembered the covenant. If he forgot it, how could he forget it? It's an eternal covenant. So how can you forget? He dwells with the Jews. The actual inner essence, which is above the level of knowledge. Level of knowledge you could have forgetting, but above that there is no forgetting. It's constant and eternal. You can't have forgetfulness there. And also, the Jews were then in an essential connection which is above divine knowledge. Because they didn't have the Torah and mitzvahs before Har Sinai. They were slaves in Egypt. So how is it that they believed in God? They had a thing called simple faith. And they were only redeemed from Egypt because of the power of that simple faith that they had in Hashem, which was rooted and planted in their soul from the inheritance from their forefathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. That's where they got the simple faith. And that's what Hashem said. I remembered for you the kindness of your youth. The kindness of your youth specifically in the Egyptian exile. When the Jews ran out after Hashem in the desert. And it caused an internal remembrance by Hashem. Because remembrance is higher than forgetfulness. So that it will never be forgotten. It was an eternal bond. It's known, maybe we should have a nigger now.
Okay.
Okay.
Te ya 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 ya. Te yo yina ma ya yina ma ya 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 ya. Te ya 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 la dam. Ya 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 ya. Oh, ya ma ya ma ya ya ya. Ya 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 ya. Te ya 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 mo ya la dam. Te ya ya yo ya ma ya nam. Hayayo Eladam Mamo Yanado Yam Ho Yo Yanam Yanadam Teyayam O Yanam Mamo Yanam Hayayaladam Bam Bam Oh, yo, yaladam, bam, 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 yaladam, yam, yaladam, yam, yoy, yaladam, yam. Yaladam, tere ya yoy, te yanam, yam, te yanadam, yam. Te yo yanam, yanam, te yam, te yo yanadam, te yo yanam, yanam, yo yanadam, yanadam, bam bam. Oh, yo yanam, mama, yanadam, tere ya, ho yanam, mama, yanam, yanadam, bam bam. Oh, yo yanam, mama, yanadam.
Nice. Thank you. I'm just going to add in here a really nice conversation I had with a friend of ours. And he was asking me what color my beard was before it got white. So I didn't know really how to explain it to him. He said, well, you could get a picture, or you could have looked into your phone, or you could have looked into a mirror. So I told him, a face is reflected in the water, the same way the heart of a man to a man. And he asked me to explain it to him. He said, I can't explain the whole thing now on 1 foot, but in a simple way, when you love your friend, he automatically loves you back. Same way a face is reflected in the water, a heart of a man reflects the heart of the other man. He told me, that's nice. You'll get a bigger smile when I tell you who it was. There are 2 levels of knowledge, 2 levels of das. The higher das, the higher knowledge, and the lower das, the lower knowledge. Like it says, for a Lord of knowledge, plural knowledges, is the Lord. Kel Deus Abaya. And the explanation, there are 2 kinds of flow. The first is bringing into being from nothing the heaven and the earth. From nothing to something. Where the divine light is hidden, because you have a heaven and earth that exists separate from Hashem. And this lower das, this lower knowledge, is connected with the recipient, to us. We feel we exist outside of Hashem. But the higher das, the higher knowledge, is how the light of flow is drawn down from Hashem himself, his essence and his being, before whom everything is considered as nothing. There is no existence next to Hashem. And in the future, there will be revealed the aspect, the level of the essence of Hashem as it is. And this is what Hashem says, they shall know me. The word know, that's the word das. That's the higher das. That there is nothing besides Hashem. Because the glory of Havaya will be revealed. The earth will be full of the knowledge of Hashem. But in the exile in Egypt, the only revelation of this was the simple, strong faith that the Jews had that Hashem was their God. And they had it as an inheritance from their fathers. Therefore, they merited that this higher level of das, Hashem himself, was revealed to them. Like it says, not through an angel, not through a messenger. Hashem himself came and took us out of there. As could be seen of eating the matzah, that indicates a simple faith, and the splitting of the sea. And this is what it says, and God knew das, with the knowledge of the higher das, as he is in his glory, in his essence, like in the future to come. At that time, he himself took us out of Egypt, and Mashiach's going to come, and Hashem himself is going to come and take us out of this exile. He is the one who felt their distress. He knows and feels in himself all the afflictions through which we are afflicted. Now, at first glance, and this is just me saying it's not written here, but I could probably find a source for it. Hashem is exalted over space and time in any of his creations. So he shouldn't be bothered what happens with his creation. But he is bothered by our aggravation. He is aggravated by it. Why? Because he chose to be our Father. And once he chose to be our Father, just like what happens to the Son, a bad thing is aggravating for the Father, so too when we're going through a hard time, it's aggravating for Hashem. But the lower das, the lower knowledge, that's where Hashem is hidden. Therefore, in all their afflictions, he is afflicted. And actually, like a father who feels the pain of his son, like one who feels his own pain. The father feels the pain of the son, like he has pain himself and he feels it. And that's what it says. Hashem is afflicted. Which is not the case with knowledge of outside of himself, according to the Seder Stavshalas, according to the creation. The creation is like a knowledge outside of Hashem. And what happens in it doesn't really bother him. He's higher and exalted from it. But what happens to us is really concerning to Hashem, because He's our Father. He made us. We didn't make ourselves. So we surrender ourselves to Him. Like it says, your eyes are open, Hashem, on all the different pathways but there can be a state of forgetfulness and distraction of the mind, even though Hashem is, we know He's with us, and we know He's watching us and taking care of us, but we can get distracted. And that's what we said, the Lord has forsaken me, the Lord has forgotten me. Because we're going in these pathways of the lower das, where it appears that we're separate from Him. But why did we think Hashem forgot us? Because we forgot Him. Like Hashem said, they have forsaken me. But in the inner point of the heart, where there is planted the strong faith, the strong emunah, like a natural and essential thing, actually, we naturally are connected from Hashem in some kind of a subconscious level, or whatever you want to call it. That's what it says. There's no forgetfulness before your throne of glory, meaning, since in our inner point of our heart we don't forget Him, there is no forgetfulness for Hashem. And this is what Hashem answered us. Can a woman forget her infant son? Because you are children of the Lord. And behold, that which the Knesset Yisrael, the community of Israel, had in the Egyptian exile in the state of simple faith, they will merit in the future to be in a state of actual seeing of godliness. Not only of godliness, but God Himself. And we did merit it when we got the Torah. We saw Him face to face. Mashiach comes, we'll have it again, but it won't go away. It'll last forever. This is what Hashem says to us. I remembered you, the kindness of your youth. Youth means that when we got out of Egypt, we were like young kids. We didn't have much of a seichel. But we ran after Hashem into the desert. We went out with simple faith, which is higher than knowledge and the recognition in the brain and the heart. Simple faith is higher than intellect and emotions. Therefore, the children of Israel were commanded to remember the exodus from Egypt all the days of your life. Keep it in your memory. Don't forget and go astray, so that you may remember the day of your departure from Egypt, all the days of your life. To include even the days of Mashiach, we have to remember the going out from Egypt. Just like from above to below, Hashem remembers us and how we were at that time that we went after Him. And there's no change from Him, how He loves us and how He's connected to us and how He sees us as His children. Also, the remembrance from below to above, our remembrance of Hashem, will be manifest when Mashiach comes. So we'll come to actual seeing of godliness. Like it said, behold, this is our God. We're going to say, we're going to point with a finger and say, here's God.
Zeh Keli.
How do we look on?
On the time of the okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe we'll break and we'll do
I
this
will tell
next
you
paragraph
right now
next
how
time.
to-
Does that make sense?
Let's see. This one doesn't show me. Let me look at this one. Here we go.
We'll have a nigun.
Yeah, we're gonna do our niggin for sure. On niggin. Yeah, I think we good.
Can we do the Beis Hamikdash boogie? Is that too sophisticated?
I mean, I'm a sophisticated guy, Betzalel.
You're a sophisticated dummy.
Yeah, I'm a sophisticated puppet. I might be full of fluff, but okay. Yeah, Rotzein. Yeah, Rotzein. Yeah, Rotzein. Yehi Rotzein milfonecho Hashem Elokeinu Velekei Haveseinu Hoy Tati our King, won't you do a good thing and please return with your people? And the angels all sing, oh glorious King, won't you please return with your people? They made you a crown, why don't you come back to town? And please return with your people. Oh Tati our King, you know it don't mean a thing unless you please return with your people. Say, but never some big dosh, you may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, you may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Hey, say, but never some big dosh, you may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, you may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, you may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Hey, say, but never some big dosh, may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho. Say, but never some big dosh, may go be your main, no, say, Galkano, say, Rosecho.
I just want to point out before we sign off that we haven't gotten yet to the reason why Hashem hides from us. In Egypt, we were in slavery. So what do you mean he doesn't forget us? And until that simple faith came out in the groan, he didn't take us out. And we're going to answer next week. We're going to answer why it is and what Hashem gets from hiding from us and what we get from it. Gezintahait, 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 my friends. Remember, kids, Gezintahait.
That's right, Gezintahait.
If there's any left, take as much as you want.